Tradition of engineering innovations and technical advancements are an important part of our heritage. A heritage that is reflected in the technical refinements and advancements incorporated into the 1987 Saabs. The purpose of this presentation is to give all Saab service and parts dealer personnel a technical update on what's new for 87. This overview is only part of Saab's new model introduction orientation. You will also receive workbooks, specification sheets, some wiring diagrams, test procedures, and separate quizzes for parts and service employees. In addition, you will be receiving parts and service manual updates and bulletins through the mail. These will explore many of the changes in greater detail. Parts microfiche, listing new 87 components, were sent out at new model introduction time. We will be using two Saab models, the 900 Turbo and the new 9000S, to illustrate many of the 1987 technical highlights. First, we will review the changes that are common to the entire 900 or 9000 lines. Then we will concentrate on specific model changes within those lines. In each case, the changes will be presented in the following major categories: exterior, engine, transmission, suspension, brakes, and interior. In 1987, there will be 9 Saab models, 7 in the 900 series and 2 in the 9000 series. As you can see, the entire 1987 Saab line now includes 2 8-valve models, 3 naturally aspirated 16-valve models, and 4 turbocharged 16-valve models. The 900 series includes the 900 in 3- and 4-door versions, the 900S model also in 3- and 4-door versions, the 900 Turbo in a 3-door model only and with an optional leather interior, the high-performance 900 Turbo with SPG package and a 5-speed manual transmission only, and the 900 Turbo convertible. The 2-door body style was dropped from the 900S line for 1987 because of the overwhelming popularity of the 3-door hatchback. This also reduces the number of variants dealers must stock. While each model in the 900 series has its own distinctive style, there are many new features and changes that are common to the entire 900 series for 1987. For example, although it may not be immediately obvious, the 1987 900 models are shorter overall than their 1986 predecessors. The difference is only 2.1 inches for the hatchback and 2.3 inches for the sedans and convertible. This change is largely attributable to the restyled and re-engineered bumpers fitted to the 900 series this year. The cellular block construction used on the earlier 900 bumpers has been discontinued and is replaced by a solid foam core design like the 9000 series bumpers. The new bumpers are finished in anthracite gray and have a spoiler extension lip on turbo models. Despite its new construction and sleeker wraparound design, the 900 front bumper still mounts to the body with 2 Allen bolts, and the lower lip on turbos is attached at PDI as in previous model years. The rear bumper has also been redesigned with a wraparound shape. Its construction has also been changed from a cellular block to solid foam like 9000 series bumpers. And the new rear bumper's impact rating has been raised from 2.5 miles per hour to 5 miles per hour to match the protection level of the front bumper. The use of this new technology on the 900 does not increase the weight despite the added protection. In keeping with Saab's ongoing commitment to the entire 900 series, the aerodynamic treatment of the front end has been upgraded. In addition to the wraparound bumper and built-in spoiler, a new, more steeply raked chrome grille and flush headlamps, similar to those fitted to the 9000 series cars, have been incorporated. Although its appearance and rake angle are changed, the 1987 900 series grille installs like the grilles in previous models. Locating pins at the bottom fit into holes in the bumper apron, and the top is secured with 3 self-tapping screws. 1987 model 900 series cars have a flush-mounted headlamp with a separate replaceable halogen bulb instead of the sealed beam headlamp unit fitted to previous 900 models. Although the new lamps look similar to those installed on 9000 series cars, they will not interchange. The bulbs, however, are interchangeable between 900 and 9000 series cars. Headlamp bulbs are removed from the engine compartment side of the lamp by turning the bulb holder counterclockwise and withdrawing it from the lamp housing. When a new bulb is installed, great care must be taken not to touch the glass because oils from the skin could lead to early bulb failure. Should you inadvertently touch a bulb's glass surface, wash it with alcohol and a clean cloth prior to installation. Also, there must be an O-ring on the new bulb before it is installed. If it is missing, moisture may form inside the headlamp housing. The new 900 series headlamps are adjusted with the same equipment as the 9000 series lamps. They also have aiming correction factors molded into the glass. Knobs in the rear of the lamp housing control headlamp adjustment. Like the 9000 series signal lamps, removal of the bulbs from the new 900 lamps is from the engine compartment. As a result of the factory's efforts to control air pollution, there have been some slight changes in the finishing process. So even though many of the 1987 metallic colors have the same names and outward appearance as previous year's colors, the paint codes and refinishing formulas are changed on 1987 models. As far as engine and transmission changes are concerned, the major news is that the 900 Turbo now uses the same basic cylinder head as all other 16-valve models. The peak horsepower has been increased on the Turbo SPG. More on that later. The service intervals and procedures remain the same as they were for 1986 models, with the exception of the elimination of the manual transmission 1,000-mile oil change. All 1987 900 series cars have a standard equipment skid plate to protect the transmission case in poor driving conditions. This was a dealer-installed optional accessory on past models. All 900 series cars have shorter front springs that lower the front ride height by approximately 15 millimeters or 0.6 of an inch. This was done in order to make the ride attitude more level and improve aerodynamics. As for changes to the braking system, a new Techstar 474 asbestos-free brake pad is being used on the inside of the front brake disc only. This new material transfers less heat to the inner or direct caliper piston. It also keeps the disc cleaner and helps avoid pulsation. But like the original equipment pads on 1979 to 1982 Saabs, the inner pads are expected to require more frequent replacement than the outer Delco 121 pads. By this time, you should have already received and read the parts and service information introducing these pads as replacements on 1975 through 1986 vehicles. A new stamped brake master cylinder and lightweight power brake booster, similar to those used on the 9000 series cars, will be installed on the 900 series cars midway through the 1987 model year. With the exception of these darker velour door panels, the interiors of the 87 900s are nearly identical to the previous models. We will cover the specific changes model by model in just a moment. Like 9000 series cars, the instrument panels on all 900s are now illuminated whenever the ignition is on. This European practice keeps drivers informed if they enter a tunnel or go under a bridge in daylight. The 9000 series also influenced the design of the new 900 series 3-position interior light switch mounted on the center console and the new central overhead dome light. The interior lights can either be switched off all the time, set to operate only when a door is open, or to operate continuously. The headliner is redesigned to accommodate the overhead light. The changes we have discussed so far will be found on all 1987 Model 900 series cars. But in addition, each separate model in the 900 series has its own unique changes and refinements. We will begin with the 900, the well-equipped traditional Saab. The most noticeable exterior change in all 1987 900s is that the steel wheels are painted black and fitted with full Sabre-style wheel covers. The 900s have the same 8-valve engine and driveline components as the 1986 models. However, the front springs and inner brake pads of the entire 900 model line are new in 1987. The low-pressure gas shock absorbers are carried over from last year. Interior changes on the 900 include velour door panel inserts on the 3-door. And all 1987 900 8-valve models come equipped with a new Clarion 20-watt AM/FM stereo cassette sound system. It includes a factory-installed rear-mounted power antenna and 4x10-inch rear speakers. This radio does not contain anti-theft circuitry, but it is easily removed using the same tools supplied with other Clarion radios. There are also factory-installed popular accessories. Wiring for the optional dealer-installed cruise control is already in place, and the harness for the optional fog lamps ends behind this blank switch cover as before. The popular 900S model has all the changes common to the entire 900 series, plus quite a few changes and additions specific to the S models for 87. Exterior changes include the 15-spoke alloy wheels previously found on turbo models. The 87-900S continues to use Saab's proven, efficient, 16-valve, naturally aspirated engine matched with Saab's 5-speed manual or the Borg-Warner 3-speed automatic transmission. These components are essentially unchanged from 1986 versions. But the suspension on the 1987-900S models has been significantly upgraded so that it is now the same as the 900 turbo models. In addition to the new lower front springs common to all 900s, the 900S has new softer rear springs and high-pressure gas shock absorbers for improved ride. The 900S is also fitted with the same 19mm front and 27mm rear stabilizer bars as the 900 turbo models for improved cornering. And the 900S now has the same ventilated front brake discs as the 900 turbo models. They are designed for cooler operation and longer disc life and offer reduced fade during hard driving. The inner brake pads are the Techstar 474 material used in all 900 series cars. The most immediately obvious change in the 87-900's interior is that the 4-spoke steering wheel has been replaced with the 3-spoke wheel used in turbo models. The radio in the 900S models is the familiar 80-watt Clarion AM/FM stereo cassette with anti-theft circuitry.
The 1987 model has the same performance specifications as previous models, but revised controls are designed to make the radio easier to use. The biggest functional change in the 900S interior is in the heating system for the driver's seat. A solid-state thermistor replaces the former thermostat in the seat. This new heat sensor is more reliable and has less variation in its cutoff point than the thermostat. The 1987 900S seat heater also now allows the driver to select the amount of warmth by adjusting a 4-position thumbwheel switch on the dashboard.
There are 3 levels of heat, plus an off position identified by clicks on the switch. This system is more accurate, allows more driver control, and provides additional warmth if desired.
The new switch is designed to work only with the thermistor-equipped seat element and requires a different wiring harness.
Beginning in mid-1987 production, 900S 3-door models will have a motorized front seat passive belt system. This is the beginning of the phase-in of the federal passive restraint standard for new automobiles. The driver's side belt is actuated by the ignition switch, while the passenger side belt operates when the passenger door is closed. A separate service information bulletin will be devoted to the operation and repair details of this system when mid-year cars begin to arrive. This is an entirely new system for Saab, so here's an overview of the system's components and features. The drive motors that operate the belts are mounted inside the rear quarter panels, and Saab even provides latches with each car so the shoulder belts can be used even if the automatic system fails. And there are emergency releases at the door pillars to allow the driver and the front seat passenger to release themselves if the need arises. As the system is operating, a flashing lamp on the dashboard alerts the driver. Even after being belted in, the driver has an unobstructed view since the passenger side belt is stored out of the way on the door pillar. On cars equipped with the passive seat belt system, the driver's seat is of a similar construction to the 9000 series seat. It has the same seat back rake angle and height adjustments as the 9000 seat, but does not have controls for adjusting thigh support or lumbar support. The backrest release is on the side of the backrest rather than next to the rake angle adjustment as it is on other 900 series 3-door models. Incidentally, the upholstery on these seats will not interchange with the upholstery from other 900 series seats. The passive belt package includes the modified knee pad that is designed to keep the driver and front seat passenger from sliding out from under their belts during a frontal impact. These cars are also equipped with manual lap belts with retractors mounted in the seats on the inboard side. In 1987, the 900 Turbo continues as Saab's entry-level turbocharged car. The main visual difference between the 1987 900 Turbo and previous model year variants is the new 3-piece wraparound front spoiler lip. These cars are shipped without the lip in place to avoid damage during loading onto transport trucks. The spoiler lip and its hardware are shipped in the 900 Turbo's trunk and must be installed during the pre-delivery inspection. An electrically operated sliding steel sunroof is now standard equipment on the 900 Turbo. This is the same sunroof that was installed on the 1986 900 Turbos with leather interiors.
The 900 Turbo has the same heated driver's seat system and new 4-position thumb wheel switch as the 900S. Like that model, the passenger seat uses a thermostatically controlled heater.
The Clarion 80-watt AM/FM stereo cassette radio with anti-theft circuitry is the same as the unit installed in the 900S model, except that it has an added graphic equalizer when installed in the 900 Turbo. Fog lamps are included on all 900 Turbo models with leather interiors, including the convertible. The cars are shipped with the fog lamps in the trunk, and they must be installed during the pre-delivery inspection. In 1987 models, the fog lamp switch has been moved to the lower position at the left of the steering wheel to make room for the seat heater control. The fog lamps are easier to install, too. In fact, they can now be installed without having to remove the bumper, because the bracket attachment points are accessible with the grille removed. The sporty 900 Turbo convertible was introduced in very limited numbers last year and will be available in greater quantity this year. Other than the obvious differences in body style, the convertible's equipment is essentially the same as other 900 Turbo models and has a standard leather interior and fog lamps. In the 1987 lineup, the 900 Turbo with the SPG package remains the hottest and most sporting of the models in the 900 series. Up front, the 87 900 Turbo SPG is distinguished by its special bumper cover and aggressive front spoiler. The one-piece lower spoiler lip, fasteners, and front side shields are shipped in the trunks of the cars to avoid transporter damage. The front side shields are now easier to install and do not require bumper removal. They must be installed during the pre-delivery inspection. The power output of the 16-valve turbocharged engine has been increased from 160 to 165 horsepower this year for the SPG package. Peak torque is increased to 195 foot-pounds. This increase was accomplished by recalibrating the automatic performance control, or APC unit, to raise the maximum boost possible from the engine's turbocharger. All the other engine equipment is the same as it was on last year's SPG model. The tune-up procedures remain the same, but the boost specifications are different. Parts and service informations will explain the changes in detail. Because of the higher turbocharger boost possible with the new APC control, the 1987 900 Turbo SPG requires the use of premium unleaded fuel to obtain optimum performance without harmful knock and to avoid the excessive boost limitations which will result with this calibration if low-octane fuel is used. The 1987 900 Turbo SPG also has several suspension changes that make it the best handling 900 model ever built. The 1987 SPG model is a full 36 millimeters or 1 1/2 inches lower in the front than its 1986 counterpart. This makes the SPG an additional 16 millimeters lower than the already lowered 900 series. The rear springs are also lower by 6 millimeters. Because the SPG is lowered, two-piece spacer blocks are installed in the front springs before the car is shipped. This keeps the springs extended for maximum ground clearance during transportation. The spacers must be removed during the pre-delivery inspection to avoid damage to the car when it is driven at normal speeds. A reminder is placed on a window label. The SPG's high-pressure gas shock absorbers have a new sport recalibration which improves handling and gives a firmer ride. This concludes our discussion of the technical update for the 87 900 series Saabs. Overall, these changes and refinements are designed to make the 900 series cars more comfortable, more efficient, more fun to drive, and a better value in the automotive marketplace. An important thing to note for both the 900 and 9000 model lines is the federal anti-theft parts marking standard that takes effect in model year 87. In an effort to crack down on car theft, federal law requires the use of tamper-proof markings on specific OE and replacement parts. The affected parts include bumpers, engine, transmission, and all major body panels, except roof and floor pan. These parts are to be labeled in a factory-specified location on each car with a tamper-resistant label bearing the VIN of that car. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration maintains records of the affected parts and label locations. The biggest change that has occurred in the 9000 line for the 1987 model year is that the number of 9000s has doubled. Last year there was only the 9000 Turbo. This year the 9000S has been added to satisfy the demand for a less expensive, naturally aspirated variant that still retains the handling, comfort, versatility, and high standards that defined the 9000 experience. Both 9000 series Saabs have distinctive personalities, created by their different engines and different standard equipment. Yet they share an important Saab heritage that really makes them more alike than they are different. So we'll begin to take a look at the common changes in the 9000 series that affect both cars. On 87 models, the door handles have chrome accent stripes. Both 9000 series cars have an underhood light controlled by a mercury switch to aid in nighttime emergencies or fluid checks. The parking lights must be on in order for the underhood light to operate. There is also a manual override switch on the light itself. The intake manifold is now a two-piece design with the sections joined by flexible couplings. This helps maintain firewall integrity during a severe frontal impact. The 5-speed manual transmission has a new reverse gear brake. As the gear shift lever is moved to the reverse gear position, a shift fork presses on the 5th gear synchro ring to slow the rotation of the input shaft. This allows reverse to be engaged smoothly without gear crunch, thereby reducing the possibility of gear tooth damage. 3rd, 4th, and 5th gears are also redesigned for quieter operation. The differences between the 9000S and the 9000 Turbo transmissions are in the final drive ratios. The 9000S ratio is 4.45 to 1, and in the 9000 Turbo, it is 4.21 to 1. Also, the 9000S uses a smaller clutch disc and different pressure plate than the Turbo. The 9000 series 4-speed automatic transmissions, made by ZF, are essentially the same in the 9000S and the 9000 Turbo models. For the 1987 model year, there is a new improved transfer gear. The final drive ratios are the same for each of the models, 4.28 to 1, but the intermediate gear ratios differ. The 9000S has a ratio of 0.98 to 1, and the intermediate gear ratio of the 9000 Turbo is 0.90 to 1. The improved front brakes have thicker discs with more ventilation holes for reduced fade in hard braking situations and reduced noise. The brake calipers are also widened to accommodate the thicker discs as well as strengthened. And all 4 front brake pads are a new Techstar 474 semi-metallic composition designed for reduced noise, optimum fade resistance, and brake balance. 9000 Turbo models come equipped with fog lamps. Although the lamps themselves are shipped in the trunk and have to be installed during pre-delivery inspection, the 9000S with optional leather interior also has fog lamps to be installed during pre-delivery inspection. But regardless of the interior, all 9000s have the fog lamp relay factory installed in the relay panel behind the glove compartment to reduce fog lamp kit installation time for the Saab dealer. All 9000s now have a pair of pinned-in-place tie-down hooks in the forward frame horns. These hooks should be removed during front spoiler installation. At the trucker's discretion, adapter hooks may also be fitted to the rear jack points. These also have to be removed at PDI. To allow for these adapters, the plastic plugs for the rear jack points are now shipped in the glove box and must be installed at PDI. Save some of this transport hardware in case your dealership needs to ship a 9000. Both 9000 series models have heated front seats with the new temperature-sensing thermistor and variable heat control switches like the type installed in 900S and 900 Turbo models. Unlike the 900 series cars, the controls for the seat heaters are located to the right of the steering column, and there are separate controls for each front seat, not just for the driver's seat. New column stalk switches are introduced which give more clearance to the steering wheel. The cruise control switches on the turn signal stalk are revised to give more positive feel. As the new but somewhat more tame member of the 9000 series, the 9000S must carve out an identity for itself. From a distance, the most immediate visual clue to the different character of the 9000S is the absence of a rear deck spoiler. Up close, the 9000S reveals a steel sunroof rather than the glass panel installed on the 9000 Turbo. The steel roof uses the same slide tilt mechanism and controls as the glass panel, but of course the interior sliding sunshade is not necessary. The 9000S uses a naturally aspirated version of Saab's 16-valve engine. It develops 125 horsepower as compared to the 160 horsepower output of the turbocharged version. Like its naturally aspirated counterpart, the 900S, the 9000S uses the EZK knock detector-based ignition system. The 9000S shares the same brakes and suspension as its more powerful turbo counterpart, and it has the same 6-inch wide alloy wheels. But the S model has either Pirelli P6 or Michelin MXV 195/60 R15 tires with an H speed rating. Inside, the 9000S is similar, but different. The seats are the same, but the standard interior upholstery in the S is velour. Leather is an option. The radio is an updated and improved 80-watt Clarion that's fitted to the 900S model. The 9000S model is equipped with an EDU-1 display unit that is similar to, but not as powerful as the trip computer in the 9000 Turbo. This three-function EDU-1 system can display the battery voltage and the fuel consumption in either average or instantaneous readings. There is a separate check engine indicator lamp. The 9000 Turbo has proven itself to be as popular in the marketplace as it is in the hands of enthusiastic drivers. So, some appropriate changes were made in '87. The tires are now state-of-the-art Pirelli P600 205/55 VR15s for optimal handling and braking performance. This new tire has a lower aspect ratio than the previously used P6 and is a high-speed V-rated tire. A new turbocharger with a water-cooled center section has been introduced on the 9000 Turbo. This new feature dramatically reduces the oil temperature both during hard driving and during the critical hot soak period after the engine is shut off. The lower oil temperatures will result in longer turbocharger life and allows the extended to 7,500 miles. The intermediate oil change at 3,750 miles is thus eliminated for the 9000 Turbo. Leather is now standard upholstery on the seating surfaces of the 9000 Turbo, and fog lamps are also standard equipment, and the switch is pre-mounted below the headlamp switch. The radio is the same improved 80-watt Clarion with graphic equalizer and anti-theft circuitry that is installed in the 900 Turbo models. A few of the highlights of the 1987 model year. The 900 series features 7 models, and there are 2 in the 9000 series. The new commonly shared features in the 900 series include re-engineered foam core front and rear wraparound bumpers, an integral front spoiler, new raked chrome grille, flush-mounted headlamps with separate halogen bulbs, lower front springs, a standard equipment skid plate, new front inner brake pads, black steel wheels with full wheel covers, a standard Clarion radio, and pre-wiring for cruise control. In addition, there are several changes that are specific to the 900S model. These include new softer rear springs and recalibrated shock absorbers, new front and rear stabilizer bars, ventilated front brake discs, a 3-spoke steering wheel, an 80-watt Clarion radio with improved controls, new 4-position heated driver's seat switch, and, from mid-year, a passive seatbelt system with new seats in the 900S 3-door. The 900 Turbo series also has some very significant additional changes, which include a new front spoiler lip, an improved Clarion radio with graphic equalizer controls. Although it is part of the 900 Turbo series, the SPG package includes some distinct changes of its own. They are a new, more aggressive front spoiler and front and rear bumper covers which integrate with the SPG body side shields. An increase in the engine power output from 160 to 165 horsepower through the use of a new APC control box, and lowered suspension with recalibrated high-pressure gas shock absorbers. The major change in the 900 Turbo convertible line for 1987 is that there will be more of them, and they will come with fog lamps. The major change in the 9000 series is the introduction of a new model, the 9000S. It has a 16-valve, naturally aspirated engine, velour interior, solid steel sunroof, but it does not have a rear deck spoiler. The 9000 Turbo has a new design water-cooled turbocharger for longer component life. As a result, oil change intervals have been extended from 3,750 to 7,500 miles. The 9000 series also has several important changes that are common to both cars, including the new manual transmission reverse gear brake, upgraded front brakes with thicker discs, and new pads and calipers. Leather seating is standard on the 9000 Turbo and optional on the 9000S, and the package includes fog lamps. The fog lamp relay is factory installed on all 9000s. Both heated front seats have the new 4-position thumb wheel control as standard equipment. The two 9000 models are also equipped with different versions of Saab's electronic display unit and improved Clarion 80-watt sound systems. The 9000 Turbo also has Pirelli's state-of-the-art P600 tires. As mentioned earlier, this overview is only part of Saab's introduction of the 87 model line. To familiarize you with the 87 Saabs, you will also be receiving the following information: specification sheets, wiring diagrams, test procedures, parts and service manual updates, parts and service bulletins, parts microfiche for components new in 87. This concludes the video presentation of the technical highlights of Saab's model line for the 87 model year.